Well, this is for those who didn't see me as yet for the day, or those who not tired of hearing from me for the day. I don't know if anybody's out there tonight. It's been a long Thursday, and I'm starting late. It is 9 minutes past 9, so maybe everybody's gone their way on Thursday, 5th of April. You had me today twice, because we did that short video on the currency, which we want to discuss, and we want to keep it in the national conversation. But I know that there are a lot of people to whom this nightly video is important to them. So I had to check in, and if you're all here, I hear. So there are a couple of things we could discuss while we're waiting on everybody else to show up. Yeah? I want to get big. I want to get bigger. Just give me one good minute to get it bigger. I have a MacBook Pro. That's what I operate on. And my MacBook Pro gives me no trouble at all, ever. I mean, it sounds like an ad. I used to be a Windows man. I used to have a Dell computer, and I was proud of my Dell computer. Until I switched to this MacBook Pro about 8 years ago. And this MacBook Pro, I'm telling you, is my loving sweetheart darling. And she don't give no trouble at all, unless it's nighttime and I go live. And then all of a sudden I get that spinning beach ball. And I could only assume that there are a lot of people inside this computer besides me. So to all of you monitoring, pleasant good evening.
Yeah, but per capita, I think yesterday in Newsday, Camille Robinson was planning.
You're not going to hear it like that. I had to do it through the phone. Sorry, give me a minute. You had to hear this. For those of you who didn't hear it, you had to hear this. So I will open with that. While I'm finding it, I'll give you some music. While I'm getting it, I will line it up. And in the meantime, you could share the video now. Tell everybody we here. Somebody sent me this today and they say use this as the opening song. What do you think? Share the video. Let them know we're here. Don't be lazy. Share it. My partner Everett Carter, I see a sign on. Brother, I want to tell you, congratulations on your son Dylan and his amazing swim time in the Commonwealth Games going on in Australia. He qualified, so great job Dylan Carter. And I know the family, so I have to acknowledge it. I also want to say the Jamaican girl boy, the Jamaican sprinter. Yeah. She have a career in modeling if she wanted. Ask Ato Bolden. He have her pictures all over my newsfeed. And she gorgeous. The Jamaican sprinter. You saw her? Yeah. I am... Oh yeah, I'm supposed to be giving you this. You see, as you do a million things.
But per capita.
Oh gosh, Philip. I'm having difficulty. Sorry, I'm having immense difficulty giving you this. But I'm giving you, no matter what it takes, you're going to hear this tonight.
On the face of the earth. But per capita. I think yesterday in the Newsday, Camille Robinson Regis, Planning Minister, she was being asked about this sealed verdict on some sexual matter related to the Ministry of Sport and Youth Affairs. Don't panic, I call in no names. Basically, she told the reporter that it is a non-story and that clearly you have an agenda. Well, Camille Robinson Regis and the rest of you on both sides of the house, of course the media have an agenda. Everybody has an agenda. So don't try and make it seem that you have to be backpedaling because you tell me I have an agenda. In this case, the agenda is to find out what the hell is the sealed verdict. And just on that point, you're fast and out of place to tell people what is a non-story. That's not your business. Yeah. Where the hell you come from telling people about a non-story? That ain't your business. Alright? Leave that for the editors and so on. Let the editors take licks for running behind non-stories and fake news and bogus stories and not really following things properly. That is none of your damn business. To tell about non-story.
The media lie down with dogs and the media catch fleas. That's the same Fazir that asked me why I call Keith Rowley a jackass. Fazir Mohammed, this is the second story that he's done since him asking me why I call Keith Rowley a jackass, where he come close to calling him a jackass too. Now, Camille Robinson Regis, friend, what we doing with you? What we doing with you? Trinidadians have been made such incredible fools of by this government. What we doing with you? So, this is why people has asked, why Philip does get on so? It takes Philip getting on to bring the Superfast Galatia and the Tobago Ferry into the public domain. It takes Philip getting on to make sure that the Maxi Coffee issue in the public space. It takes Philip getting on. I see TV6 covering the 20% in the SCA exam. That going on decades now. Before Philip started to get on, there is that issue. It takes Philip getting on to get the Bankers Association to come and talk about what they're doing us. IDB, the International Development Bank, had to put out an article on how bad we have it in this country with our banks. Today I put out a video about the spread between $6.01 to buy and $6.77 to sell. That puts a 13% tax on everything you buy. Now you may think that that is not a lot of money, but if you buy a car, $50,000 going just to the bank for that US spread. Anyway, Camille, I was going to ignore Romperman because I could go back to the start where I told Trinidad from the start Daryl Smith is a shit snake. I couldn't even give him a blind. I was very, very good friends with his wife, Danielle Campbell Smith. I think she is a beautiful woman. And she must have killed a priest in her past life to end up marrying that shit snake and making all them children for him. But you want to know how sweet a woman his ex-wife, his now ex-wife, because she divorced him, Danielle Campbell Smith is. Every year the Jericho Project did, and it does, we only missed last year, we're doing it again this year. For all the orphans in Trinidad, we do an event called the Kids Funathon in the Savannah. And all the orphans come in the Savannah and have a big, big party. And it's bouncy castles and chair playing. And to them, is the biggest day of the year for all the orphans in Trinidad. And Danielle Campbell Smith, for years, donated the bouncy castles free of charge. Only when her husband ended up in the PNM and all the way end up on the other opposite sides of the conversation. But I told her then, I avoided, because out of my friendship with her, dealing with any issues of his gross indecency. But I have one question to ask. And of course, my question goes to Camille and Daryl's boss, Mugabe. Keith Christopher Mugabe Sabga Rowley, the first black Syrian. Brother, I have the Salary Review Commission latest position on Member of Parliament salary. And I looked through that today to fine tooth comb, and I couldn't find any allowance in the compensation package that deals with sexual harassment and molestation cover-up fees. There is nothing in law that allows Daryl Smith treasury dollars to pay off the woman he molests. So Camille, not only is it news, it is misbehavior in public office again. And at some point, I will force the Director of Public Prosecutions and the Commissioner of Police to start to do their jobs where this government is concerned. This is the second time I am asking Keith Rowley, on what authority did you take that money from the people and spend it like that? On what authority do you have to use public funds to cover up Daryl Smith's sexual indiscretion? This is a country where the Minister of National Security, instead of ventilating publicly the outcomes of a matter that he has brought up on fraud charges in New York City, sealed the matter behind closed doors. And we now have to rely on his version of events. You have a Minister of National Security embroiled in a lawsuit where a man claims that he stole his land or his house and his money. That is your Minister of National Security. Somebody tell me, drug lords in Trinidad opening pharmacies so they go in public. And it looked like if you want a man to deal with crime, hire a man who involved in crime. Because Edmund Dillon, we're not accepting your version. And you are just another straw on the camel's back. You are just another straw on the camel's back. You and this. Because Rowley was the fire. But Rowley in trouble. Rowley is in trouble from within. Ironically, his style of bacchanalist politics is about to rush him like two hungry Rottweiler. Ironically. Because inside his own party, the people who fund his party, that got the PNM into power, they didn't want to interfere with Rowley in mid-stride. But they're ready to move him now. And Keith in trouble. And Keith in trouble. And you can wake up any day and find Paula Mae Weeks, President of the Republic, has received 15 letters from members of Parliament saying they withdraw their support for the Member of Parliament for Diego Martin West and give their support to either the Member of Parliament for San Fernando West or the Member of Parliament for Diego Martin Northeast. Keith Rowley in trouble. And that's not the trouble he's supposed to be in. The trouble Keith Rowley is supposed to be in is with the law. That's the trouble Keith Rowley is supposed to be in. But I got news today that birds of a feather flock together. And I have heard today, brother man, Rowley, about relatives that you have in the business of, what shall we say? You know, I know, understand, bro, why. I know now from today why you are Trinidad's first black cereal. I understand now. And all of you who feel that if we highlight something that fall in your garden and you know it wrong, but you're trying to defend it and you're vexed with me for bringing it up, you're the problem. They ever say no one raindrop ever considers itself as having caused the flood. The flood is the effort of all the drops of rain collectively. And as we, look, we want to fix law and order, but not the laws, maybe, that we benefiting from. Trinidadians have become complicit in the corruption, and they've been allowed to become complicit because people who in Kakada, what does it say? Thief don't like to see thief with bag. People who in Kakada tend to have to keep themselves quiet because bigger thief on top of them will mash them up. But we have to decide now, this country, how much longer are we prepared to allow it to function in a manifestly dysfunctional manner? A failed nation, a narco state, a banana republic, gangster's paradise, criminal empire, shithole, third world, Trinidad and Tobago. How long, how much longer we prepared to allow this to continue? There are people who say they vex with me for bringing up the issue of Gregory Hannes, senior tax partner in Ernst & Young. Smash a glass in a man's face and nearly kill the man. You see, we watch TV, and in TV, cough, cough back, cough back again, smash a glass, throw a table. That's Hollywood. You hit a man wrong, you could kill him. You hit a man wrong, he fall long, put his head in the dead, like manslaughter, if not murder. So y'all vex because I say what he did was wrong and that the police had to intervene because that was a criminal act. Now he's your friend and I understand. There are people who are telling me that the victim who get the glass smashed in his head, that cut his nerve and cut his artery, he was provoking him. That's for the court to decide. I wasn't there. You can't tell me that because I don't know what's going on, I can't talk. Because I just watch all here. When little black children bleeding out on the ground and the mother crying and talking about the child was a good boy, all you just be laughing and catching kicks. Whole day, all you laughing at this girl who says she escaped with a hairpin to come back home. And none of all you stopping to look at the fact that this was a girl who was impregnated when she was 13 years old. Trinidad and Tobago. How much children she make for that man? When she finally got a chance to run away, instead of Trinidadians helping her, we shaming and blaming her. So she concocted a stupid lie. Like the people who saying they have a video that's showing Ravi was slapping Gregory Hannes. I not even weighing in on that. You are the senior tax partner at Ernst & Young. You're trying to tell me in your entire life of confrontation, you never learn how to walk away. For every excuse that you could make, You squared off with an unarmed man smaller than you. And the best that you could have think to do was to take the glass that you had in your hand and bust that man's head to the point where his skull was showing. You cut him so deep, you flood the car with his blood. All the people who say, I don't know, this is what I know. These are facts and evidence. The man nearly dead. He's injured for life. If severed a nerve, it may never connect again. That is what I do know. Those are facts and evidence. And I had to ask somebody who said, yeah, boy, Phil, but here Ravi was having an argument and whatever. I know my concern. Because your position wouldn't be the same if the incredibly talented medical team could not save him in time. They had to transfuse blood to that man before they could perform surgery. Would your position on the matter have been the same if Gregory Hannes, in a fit of rage, had killed that man? We need to decide if we want anarchy or a law-abiding society. The same fruit of the same poison tree that is Gregory Hannes losing his temper and smashing that glass in our man's face is the same mentality of a gun in your face, because you have and the holder of the gun don't, and he wants some and he think he deserves it. We either live in a country where the rule of law applies or it doesn't. And if anarchy is going to reign, a lot of people who have been so far protected because of law would find that they will rue that day. There is a lot of evil in this country and a lot of people willing to do anything to get where they want to go. I shared today a PNM stalwart. You all knew who Kamaluddin Mohammed is? And Shah Mohammed? Kamaluddin Mohammed was a founder of the PNM. This is Nafisa Mohammed. I don't know if Nafisa is his daughter or his niece, but they live in a place in Sawa called Mohammedville. They're that entrenched. And this is what Nafisa Mohammed, diehard PNM, stalwart of the party, relative of a founder of the PNM, had to say. The air bridge has really collapsed. Since midday yesterday, folks have been waiting to get on a flight to return to Trinidad. At midnight last night, they said no more standbys. You have to come back and validate your ticket, then put your name on the list again. Since 4:45 a.m., waiting in line to get into Caribbean Airlines office to renew the tickets, 70 people ahead of you, and you haven't reached to the counter to get your name on a list. Meanwhile, you can't even hear or see a plane coming in. Who is really monitoring and helping to deal with this crisis? Why can't arrangements be made to send a jet to clear the pile-up once or twice during the day? This is not rocket science. This is a serious indictment on the management of the affairs of our country. I will be criticized for speaking out, but too many people suffering. It is totally unacceptable and inexcusable. Power is ephemeral, and the writing is on the wall for all who have ears to hear and eyes to see. You cannot run a country on the basis of public relations. This is madness. Mariano Brown, former Minister of Finance under the PNM last administration. If you cannot manage domestic tourism and provision Tobago properly, then you don't have much chance of dealing with the international tourist market, which has more sophisticated requirements. These challenges are difficult enough, yet the tourism minister has the audacity, arrogance, and rudeness to dismiss those who demand a better service as Tobagonians by boat. Does that mean that Tobago is only for Tobagonians and non-Tobagonians are not welcome? This from a minister of tourism. There are many lessons from the foregoing, not the least of which is that our maintenance capacity is severely challenged. The sea trials of the Spirit have simply confirmed the UK-based INSERV risk engineering report 8 months ago, which identified multiple safety defects on the TNT Express and overuse of the TNT Spirit. The breakdown of the water taxi on the return trip to Trinidad demonstrate that this effort to patch the system raises serious safety concerns. That's 2 PNM. 2 PNM stalwarts. Both were ministers. One the daughter of a founder or the niece of a founder. And of course, when people speak out, others have to say, well, she vexed with Rowley, or she get fired from her this, or she do her that. But they're not stopping to see that our collective condition is deteriorating by the day. They're not stopping to see that. What is immensely troubling to the vast majority of Trinidadians and Tobagonians is that across the aisle, there is not much better. There is not much better. Our news, the news that we get in the news feed, is tiresome. It's sad. It is symptomatic and indicative of a failing country. Whole day I collected information to give you. Now that I bring up the issue of case-making company taking advantage and breaking the law, people are sending in pictures. Keep sending your pictures. Anywhere you see a kiss vendor on the side of the road, take a picture and send it. That is an accumulation of law breaking that we have to ask the Commissioner of Police and the Minister of Local Government who is responsible for this abdication of responsibility to the rule of law. Change gears. Forbes newspaper put this into the public space. Remember, I'll come back to that. Nevada makes $30 million in marijuana taxes during the first 6 months of sales. The Silver State's marijuana industry is still in its infancy, but the cannabis market has raked in more than $30 million in tax revenue for the state so far. Retailers in Nevada have sold more than $195 million in cannabis during the first 6 months of its adult use market. Unlike other states, including California, Maine, and Massachusetts, that legalized recreational marijuana in 2016, Nevada implemented its program a full 6 months ahead of the new year. The state charges a 15% tax on wholesale marijuana and a 10% tax on retail sales. That netted the state nearly $3.7 million in tax revenue for July 2017, its first month of recreation sales. Tax revenue hit a peak of nearly $5.8 million in October 2017. The state has seen its marijuana sales soar past Colorado's cannabis sales during the first month of its legal market. Now, the point that I am trying to make here is that 6 months, Nevada, 180 million, 200 million TT dollars. That is what Colm Imbert running down as the shortfall in taxation. That he said that there's a shortfall in the economy, so he needs this extra money. So why we can't decriminalize marijuana, legalize it for growth and export? Why can't we do that? It don't matter be for use in Trinidad and Tobago, but you'd be foolish not to, because we're locking up people for no reason. Recreational use of marijuana is a global thing. We have people in all walks of life in this country, CEOs, magistrates, judges, businessmen, lawyers, doctors. I do not want a drunk doctor or a drunk pilot or a drunk taxi driver. I do not want a high doctor, a high pilot, or a high taxi driver. Stop making bullshit analogies. There is time to drink and smoke, and there is time to be sober as a judge. the legalization of marijuana in Trinidad and Tobago will save this country hundreds of millions of dollars in wasteful prosecution that ought not to be taking place. The people who do not smoke weed will not smoke weed because it became legal. Alcohol is legal. You can buy alcohol any way you want. The people who don't drink still don't drink. Carib and Stag could be 2 for the price of 1. If you don't drink Carib and Stag, you're not interested. That's not your market. But we're playing again a game with the running of this country. You're sharing a video for people to see Venezuelan people advantaging Trini people in the water. But you're not saying the Progressive Empowerment Party tells you every single day, secure the nation's borders, a maritime security wall, and protect all of our people. We're not having these conversations because they're allowing us to be distracted with foolishness. And we can't continue this way. We cannot continue this way. We are in a crisis. Trinidad and Tobago is in a crisis. And the only way to fix it is to confront the source of the problem. You cure a disease by attacking the disease. You don't attack the symptoms. The disease in Trinidad and Tobago is the oligarchy-owned and controlled PNM and UNC. That's the disease. Racism is a symptom of the disease. Corruption, mismanagement, violence, gangs, terrorism, murder, symptoms of the PNM and the UNC. Rank terror runs this country. You cannot do business in Trinidad and Tobago without engaging corruption at some point. And at that point, you have to actually decide, do I go out of business or do I engage in corruption? People have told me, Philip, you can't just have this all or nothing prima donna approach because there's nobody for us to turn to, and I accept that. But I want you to understand that if ever there is a change and there's a Progressive Empowerment Party government and we are going to address these issues, you have to be willing to cease your corrupt behavior. Because we can't continue watering the poison tree and vex when it bear fruit. All of the things that are wrong in Trinidad and Tobago is as a direct result of the failure of the PNM and the UNC. You cannot tell me that Kamla Persad Bissessar, Silk, and Anand Ramlogan, Silk, were in Parliament as government in control of the legislative agenda with a special majority in the Parliament. And we didn't get fixed election day. We didn't get recall legislation. We didn't get referendum. We didn't get all of the issues that Kamla Persad Bissessar on the hustings said we would get. What we got instead was an attempt to hijack the election in something called a runoff. You'll remember that. A runoff. Kamla wanted to pass into law a runoff that would reward the PNM and the UNC perpetually. They almost legitimized lesser evil voting with that runoff legislation. That's what she tried to do. That's what she tried to do in the Parliament. And that's her legacy. She wasn't drunk. She wasn't missing in action. It's not Suruj and Rudal and Vasant to blame. She's the boss. Like Rowley is the boss now. The buck stops with the Prime Minister. According to Westminster system, everybody in the Parliament is equal. But the Prime Minister is first among equals. The Prime Minister calls the shots. The Prime Minister dictates the pace. Everything that went wrong in Trinidad and Tobago on her watch is Kamla's responsibility. And the attempts to try and pretend that the people she appoints in public positions are responsible and she isn't, is to say that we were being governed by a clueless, gormless Prime Minister, which I think is even worse. Because that means we were hijacked from within. And you want to put back somebody who nearly run the ship aground, who had in her cabinet people doing what the hell they like. That's what you already want to say is the reason the country was like that. So Kamala was useless. Why you want to put a useless leader back? Why? Does it make sense to you to come back and say she either was corrupt, bungling, and incapable, or she was absent? She had no idea what was going on in the government. Which is the truth? Which is the truth? One of those two, worse than the other. So we are dealing with Keith Rowley. Because every single day, Keith Rowley cut his own self down worse. But Kamala is not the choice. They have nothing in the UNC. I don't care what they're paying you, I don't care what they give. Miss me with your bullshit. They have nothing in the UNC of any value for anybody in this country. Every single time the United National Congress have had power, all they've done is used it to plunder and pillage. Yeah, they built some box trains. I give them that. Yeah, they built some box trains. They gave us the Diego Martin bypass at 4 Roads. I know. I designed it. But it should not cost more than $50 million. It cost $300 million. Somebody got a payday. When you look at what was done in Maracas Beach, that car park, that the PNM spent $61 million to finish what the UNC was spending $200 million on, neither of them worth more than $10 million. It was a car park that was already there. A car park that was already there. And neither one of those bands of jackasses had the foresight or the intelligence to understand. Pull the car park closer to the beach and let the road run behind it. No engineering, everything there, pitched, paved, and nice. Just pull the car park 20 feet closer to the beach and let the road run behind it. So you don't back up traffic. You could build a lay-by for the people who going into the car park, swing right here. You didn't have to build no roundabout. You're going to the beach, use the lay-by. You're not drive straight. You didn't have to build a roundabout, and you don't have to back people up to there. And most importantly, the elderly, the children, the drunk, the people who go into the beach and parking in the car park don't have to navigate traffic. The insanity of spending $61 million to fix a car park that was already there and build the same bullshit that was already there is trying to say all you don't give two ass about the people of this country. You all okay? You all okay? Long as your people get paid and your money get deposit, they could run over the disabled. They could run over the elderly. They could kill the drunk. You want them to go on the beach and take 2 drinks, and relax. But now that they're tipsy and they're going back to the car, they have to navigate and negotiate traffic. This is an insane country. Of the $61 million the PNM spent on that, 50 was stolen money. Didn't need to spend so much money. We are a nation that is constantly being stick up. Gun in your face. Constantly from your government. The worst criminals in the country hold state offices and big positions. Isn't that a tragic, tragic joke? We are a comedy. We cannot yet face up to the reality that if Rowley blamed Kamala, and Kamala blamed Manning, and Manning blamed Pandey, and Pandey blamed Manning again, and that in that 20 years, $1 trillion was spent, and all we have to show for it is some international debt, and blame, and all you okay with that, and all you still playing eeny, beeny, miny, mo with that, we look for what we get. This is a country. If we were the Titanic, we hit the iceberg, we back up and hit it again, just to make sure. 5 times. 5 times. Somebody referred to what we do at election time in Trinidad and Tobago between the PNM and the UNC as whining on a sinking ship. That ain't no lie. Anthony Vera, former independent senator, used the Titanic reference to say, we repositioning the deck chairs on the Titanic. We're moving them around. PNM, UNC. Same shit, different party. Red and ready, yellow and unsteady, bacchanal party, criminal conspiracy. Two failed organizations that have done nothing more than destroy the great nation of Trinidad and Tobago. We may be a dot, but we were blessed by God. God gave this nation everything that a nation could want. Beautiful location, beautiful people. We are the only Caribbean country outside of the hurricane belt. We have a nylon pool and the biggest pitch lake in the world. Our ground so fertile, they spit up Papa seed or Portugal seed and come back tomorrow. Portugal and Papa want a bay. We are the best country in the world. We have the best cocoa. We have the best honey. Second hottest pepper. Most beautiful woman anywhere. Check our people. Pick them up from Trinidad, drop them anywhere else in the world. We're brilliant beyond measure. We become the top in our field anywhere we go. This Trinidad and Tobago is the greatest nation in the world. And we were supposed to be that. That was supposed to be our boast. We were supposed to be people that could beat our chest and say, hey, I's a Trini. Can't do that. We live in shame. Yeah, boy, I's a Trini. I'm sorry. I'm going to tell you, actually, country infected. We have Rowleyitis. We had Kamlamania. We had Manningitis. Pandeitis. Country in a mess. PNM and UNC have destroyed this country. If you understand and grasp that the driver of the car is responsible for the car and the well-being of the passengers, take that analogy to government. The function and purpose of government is the well-being of the citizens. I said on the radio this morning to somebody who asked me, why don't I work with one of the other parties? I said, if you get into a car and the driver drunk or the driver driving dangerously and putting your life at risk, you will stop him and pull over. You ain't going to go in the front seat and try to help him drive. That ain't your work. That is not your job. You're paying for that. You're hiring somebody. The purpose of government is the well-being of all of the people of the country. That is the function and purpose of government. If they can't clean the country, if they can't provide water, if they can't pave the roads, if they can't provide security, if they can't make sure that all our people have a job and that our people can own a home, if they can't do those basic things, provide healthcare, functional education, if they can't do those things, then talking bullshit at religious holiday time and saying all are we tolerant and we just get along, it's like that is some purpose or benefit of action of government. That is us living harmoniously together in spite of government. Government have no credit for that. Government don't take credit for the fact that Trinidadians get along. In fact, any racial strife and conflict we have in this country is as a direct result of the PNM and the UNC. Because they're intellectually vacuous and inane, they're morally bankrupt, they don't have a clue. They can't come and tell you, vote for me because the Progressive Empowerment Party tells you, vote for us and you will get a 10-year school system, abolish the SEA, zone the schools, and give each child a GPA. So all of a sudden you could track the performance of every child in Trinidad and grow them up in their community where their mommy and daddy are helped to own a home. So mommy and daddy know all of the teachers and the principals for the entire 10 years of your child's basic scholastic career. So you know and could work and get involved and develop the child. And everybody grow together as one rich, interconnected community. Just that changes Trinidad for good forever. We promise a 41 constituency healthcare centers, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, accident and emergency, equipped minor surgery suite. So there is a list that the actuarians and the statisticians will tell you. These things have to be handled in this constituency. Scorpion bite in Sangre Grande, heart attack in Diego Martin, drowning in Mayaro and Toko, you get all the things that need to be addressed and you make sure you have everything there. The Progressive Empowerment Party promises you ambulances, GPS tracked ambulances operated by paramedics located in every constituency. Your ambulance for your heart attack not coming from Piarco if you're in San Fernando. It is an insanity that we've allowed the country to run this way. The Progressive Empowerment Party tells you that we will engage in the construction of dams and retention ponds to hold the water that we get every year, the bounty of rain, to use in the dry season. So the Wassa will tell you, turn off your hose and don't water your plant and don't wash your car. Water is water. We caught it in the rainy season for you to use in the dry season. Like yourself, love yourself. We will make sure that the water is purified within each constituency in 41 micro water making plants. So that within a 3-mile radius, you will get pure water in your tap and you don't have to spend money buying Blue Waters and Water One. This country does not have to be this badly off. It is this way by design. And by continuing to support the political parties that represent the oligarchy, that plundering and pillaging it, to keep it this way, we are not victims. We are accomplices. We have to decide if we want a better nation. Because that's what's at stake here. If what you want is a better nation, there's only one thing to do. There's only one thing to do. If what you want is a better country for yourself and your children and your family and your loved ones and your neighbor, your tanty and your grandpa and your grandchildren, if what you want is a place that you can grow old in and your children can romp and play in safety, if you want the Trinidad and Tobago where everything works, you have a responsibility. We have to stop being so lazy with our democracy. We have to stand together as one people under one flag. And this is our responsibility.
Our destiny. Your vote will decide what you want to be. Your vote can foretell our country's fate. But use it well before it's too late. If it is that who you're voting, fail beyond a doubt. When you're voting, vote them out. Vote them out. If it is they prove it to be your full amount. When you're voting, vote them out. Vote them out. If it is the time is now that change should come about. Just as how you vote them in, vote them out.
Register.
If they don't see,
Vote them out.
stick your finger and
Vote them out.
show them no mercy. Vote them out. Vote them out with total skull and utter disdain. Let's put our country together again. Vote them out of power to be their reign. Let's put our country together again.
If you want a better nation, it is here. You have a chance. Stand together. Stand up for it. Tell the PNM and the UNC enough. We fed up of your bungling, corrupt, incapable, racist, tribal, mismanaging bullshit. We fed up with the bacchanal noise. We want home ownership. We want jobs for all. We want border security. End the drug trade. End the gun trade. Secure the nation. You want a better nation? This is what you have to do.
If for 30 years you voting them in, and there's only tears as soon as they win.
They give you
Big words,
and enslave your soul, promising your roads, and it's only potholes.
if they are the reason why the economy could sprout. When you're voting, vote them out. Vote them out. If it is the passing laws that them alone can flout. When you're voting, vote them out. Vote them out. If it is the building ISAs, east, west, north and south.
Just as how you vote them in. Clean it up. Take responsibility. Vote them back out. Tell them go away. Not interested. Save the old talk. We heard that before. You had a chance. You made a mess.
They have me in faith.
Let's put our country together again.
Vote them out, Calypso, and Joy
know, look around, check it out, go anywhere. Find a place in Trinidad and Tobago, touch something and say, government do that and I'm proud. A catastrophe.
If they cannot cope,
And you're seeing so, then your only hope is for them to go.
if it is fabrication, these statements
That they spout when you're voting, vote them out.
if it is that frustration,
Does make you want to shout.
when you're voting, before they misuse out,
Thief out, sell out, and digs out. If it's you that vote them in, clean up after yourself.
register and all of them, stick your finger and them on the system,
Vote them out.
put them out in Scarborough and import a spec.
Let's put our country together again. Ignore the old talk.
Them out in
Focus on issues. If it's wrong, we could fix it. We the people, let's have that conversation. Let's have the conversation how to fix healthcare, how to fix education, how to fix home ownership, how to regulate the banks, how to put the insurance companies to function properly, how to make sure that housing is available for all and that we reduce the cost of food. These are the issues that we have to discuss. If you have never been hungry, learn to have compassion for the people who are. Stand together as one people under one flag. If we fix it, crime and all of those problems will be a thing of the past.
People must come first.
All our people
Citizens by
are
right.
citizens by right.
None of you.
None of us are worse. Yellow, black, white, red, green, and every shade in between. Food, shelter, clothes, free movement and speech. A garden that grows, and one law for each.
If it is that injustice is what they always show.
When you're voting,
If it is that avarice,
is all they seem to know.
when you're voting,
If it is their politics, it's just a pappy show. When elections day come,
all bandits must go.
chase them out,
Register and
fire them,
if they don't see,
fire all of them.
stick your finger and
From a side,
show them
clean house, ball all out,
put them out.
everybody go.
And under the state,
Let's put our country together again,
put them out of power.
terminate their reign.
Let's put our country together again.
To all the people who are with me today on the radio and here tonight, I thank you for your company. I always appreciate all of the information. I don't say this enough. At the end of the show, during the show, I read a lot of the comments because I'm speaking into a phone and I'm reading the comments as it passes. But after the show, all 1,000 comments, I read all of them. And I take guidance because it is important to me that I understand how you are feeling about these issues. I know it is difficult to look around and see the condition of the country and feel the level of hopelessness and even shame that many of us feel. Many of us are so punch drunk and tired of the political process that we don't even want to have the conversation. It is difficult for us to believe. Like a woman who has been in 5 relationships and she gets abused in all 5. The 6th man that looking to buy her wine and roses, she ain't really interested in what he have to say. He had to come good, but like the proverbial Peter, he paid for them 5, Paul. And I get that. I get that. I get that when you all look at me, you all don't just see this sexy, handsome, intelligent guy. That you all see a politician. I have become a politician. In a lot of ways, I said today, I have been fighting dragons for so long, I fear I might become a dragon too. I do not like that to get the message across, sometimes I have to be as crass as I have to be. But in Trinidad and Tobago, our people are so numb and anesthetized that they're not even feeling the pain anymore. Muscle lash on your back, bouncing off. We're taking foolishness and nonsense like it's normal. There is nothing worse than accepting mediocrity as your fate in life when the bounty of the world is available to you. Make no mistake. This is a country that could have a $60 billion budget this year, and $30 billion out of that goes to the people directly. The Progressive Empowerment Party dreams of a country where the budget is balanced and the income takes care of expenses to the point where we could put a deposit in every citizen's account on their birthday. Let's say the country do well and your share of the country this year is $30,000. You get $15,000 on your birthday, $15,000 6 months later. If you get yourself in trouble with the law, you lose it. So it's an incentive to behave your freaking self. Men will tell one another, let me tell you, I want a bus a slap in your ass, but you see that $15,000 again next week, you get away. Give people incentive, give them hope, give them opportunity. Treat our people like they are stakeholders, heirs, inheritors. Our Trini people walk around in this country trying to survive, not trying to thrive. We take those same people and rest them in New York City, rest them in Miami, rest them in England, rest them in Switzerland, Sweden, Norway, Finland, rest them in Russia and China. Our people go to Japan and teach people how to speak English. But from the moment they land, that exuberance, that natural Trinidadianness, Tobagonianness, it bubbles up out of them. And we say, yes, let's take on the world. You know what that is? That is a celebration of hope meeting opportunity. We could do that in this country. They say luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. We've been preparing to fail for 56 years now. Why we don't flip that script? Why don't we as a people say, you know what? We are willing to try. I tell you something, you know. You have to understand that I am the most reluctant politician there is. When people tell me, boy, Philip, when you talk hard at people, they ain't gonna vote for you. It's not that I'm trying to be self-destructive. It's because I really am not going to fool you or con you for your vote. I'll tell you it as it is. And you and I are going to then find a way to negotiate this treacherous minefield that is the political climate in Trinidad and Tobago. I agree to be a leader that serves and a servant that leads. That was the mandate handed to me by Father Harold Imamshah when he blessed the office, and I will never forget it. I will never forget it. Because to do this is to sacrifice the time in my life when I thought I'd be traveling the world and seeing all the nice things, sampling stuff. Maybe stuff will come to me. You want a better country? Come and be a part of what we're doing. Other people form political parties while we've been doing this. Crest and died in the time. We make it look easy, you know. To have 44 Saturday meetings in a year and 2 months and 14 public meetings, to have 2 more planned already in a political party that every year, every month, struggling to find money to pay the rent on the office. We're trying to buy 100 chairs. We want 200 chairs. The chairs are $90 each. We're begging for that. We want 100 chairs. We're buying a PA system. Anybody who is based outside that would like to sponsor, it could be used. Gary Blake, you come up at the right time because this is your industry. We want powered speakers. That means they already have the amp inside them, and all you need to do is plug them in and push the mic into it, and you could talk. We want to be able to go throughout the country with 2 speakers and a mic, a podium, and 100 chairs, and just have a rolling conversation with the entire nation continuously. Besides this live video, besides the 411 on Tuesday nights, besides Frontline on a Thursday night, besides the 11 o'clock show every Thursday with Robert Amaran on 4.7, and besides the Saturday meetings at noon, we want to educate, inform, and empower all of the other people who come into politics looking for a work. Them is not your people. The people who are trying to help you understand this thing. And I like when I read people say, Phil, after your video every night, I feel like I learned a little bit more. and I understand a little bit more. Anybody who would like to help us with the PA system, I see Gary volunteering. If you want to help Gary, put some money with Gary, because in Trinidad it's 2,500 TT for the cheapest one I find in Price Mart. The chairs are $90 each. Debbie Lee Jaikaran is handling that. She is the director, the coordinator of all PEP events. And I am doing the begging, she handling it. People have been volunteering all day. They will sponsor 2, they will sponsor 4. I will give 100 US, and that's fantastic. Anybody who wants to help, want to buy 2, want to buy 4, want to buy 10, you want to sponsor 50. We say this: if you sponsor it in the name of a loved one who may have passed on, who wanted a better Trinidad and Tobago and didn't live to see it, we will put their name on the back of each chair, sponsored by and their name, or in memory of, or your company, or your brand. We have no problem with that. Unless you're involved in some kind of slackness, well, we will have a problem with that. So don't bring slackness back. Other than that, $90 a chair. $90. Help us out. Because those 100 chairs, or the 200 if we get them, will take us through this island week after week after week, cottage meeting after cottage meeting, because there is nothing more important to this mission than educating our people, opening their minds and freeing them. That's the job. If along the way all of those people say, you know what, let's complete the transaction, go and do the job, we with you. We there. That's why we created a political party, so that you have a vehicle if you want. But our main mission is to come to you and educate you what we have, why it doesn't work, what could work, and have a conversation with you. Next week, Saturday, this Saturday, we're in Couva. Dave Lux and Debbie Lee and everybody will be sharing their address. And the Couva thing all over my wall. I'm losing my voice. Today was plenty talking. Next week, Saturday, is the debut of the first, and it's only natural that it will be at our headquarters, 19 Stanmore Avenue, under the mango tree, open air, open mic. And what it is going to be is the first of its kind. Any political party, because every 2 weeks we're going to be doing this somewhere. That's what these chairs are for. That it is a political meeting where the people dictate the conversation and we answer to the best of our ability. It is an open mic from the very start, that you come to the meeting and you make a contribution or you ask a question. Janice Lemon Creaky and Anthony Defu are our PROs. They will control it so that people will come up on the mic and talk for 10 minutes, because we want everybody to have a chance. But you can come and make your contribution and engage the audience, engage the people at the head table, engage everybody in a conversation focused on always a better nation. That's what we always want. A better nation, a better Trinidad and Tobago. Let's discuss how we get from here to there. This Saturday we're in Couva at 6 p.m. Next week Saturday it's the first open mic, open air. If you would like to help with the chairs, we really need it, and the PA, you could private message me, private message Debbie Lee, email us at peptrinbago@gmail.com. That's our primary email address. Our website is peptt.com. We have an app, Pep app, PEP, available at all of the app stores, free to download. Our hotline is 347-4PEP. Tomorrow night is Friday night, and if I have a voice, we will have a Friday night line. So I think I touched on everything that we were supposed to touch on. Dave Lutz is giving you all real directions and landmarks. You could follow that. Marissa Bash is on the thread to remind all of you who are in the environs of Toronto that the Toronto Peppers are having an event in May, and she shared it on this at dinner. I think it's the 12th of May. I keep getting everything wrong, but you all know it's too much information you all have in my head, right? Anybody who would like to come on board and be a part of to be a financial contributing member to the party, we are having a cocktail party for financial members soon. If you would like to have your name added to that list, and to be a financial member of the party, you have to be willing to contribute a commitment of $12,000 a year or $1,000 a month. We're not asking for much. We're not greedy. We want many hands to make light work. So we just want everybody to say, look, hold that, a kakada. Unlike them other parties who's come to here for $50,000 and $100,000, we ask for $1,000 a month. Help us pay the bills. to grow your Progressive Empowerment Party and take it to every nook and cranny and corner and beach and driveway and churchyard and barbershop and restaurant and bar and corner and street. Help us take this Progressive Empowerment Party into every village and every city and every community in Trinidad and Tobago. This is your Progressive Empowerment Party, and we can't buy media time on Sabga News Network or Massy Media. So instead, we're going to the people directly. Help us, assist us. We are very interested in living up to the responsibility you placed in us. To make that happen, you got to take care of your share. So, until tomorrow, stay safe, Trinidad and Tobago.